Hello there YouTube, this is Daniel back at Daniel's Comics with another YouTube video, and this time I'm about to show you my most recent Instocktrades haul and a couple of trades that I picked up at my LCS, one of the two I go to. A bunch of trades this time around and two big hardcovers to add to the end of the haul. But first I would like to thank Hoodoo TV who alerted me to getting the first trade of the bunch, which is Harbinger Wars, the event book itself. I had forgotten about it. I had only a couple of months ago I went ahead and got a bunch of Valiant books, like 20 of them, something like that. I called it the Valiant Edition haul. And I had forgotten about this one, and I did track down a reading order for the event itself, and I followed that one and I enjoyed it immensely. It's got some really nice art, like this one. I've recently hurt my thumb, so I'm not being able to hold up the whole book, I think, but yeah, the art here is just amazing, and this gives me an idea that they had planned this a long time ahead, because everything played into this event from the first couple of issues of each series, Bloodshot and Harbingers. Played into this event itself, and I loved it the whole ride through. Yeah, the art, how they mix different art style on each page. In a couple of panels they have different art styles as well, which is really neat. And yeah, I enjoyed this really much. And then one of my LCS that I usually go to, the owner of, or part owner or co-owner of the LCS that I pick up my single issues, he has recently opened a online business, but recently they also went ahead and has gotten a physical store location as well, and they basically deal in back issues. And they had like a anniversary celebration, and I decided to go there and got a couple of back issues for a friend, and then I also went ahead and got The Nobody, who is written by Jeff Lemire, and his art is quite familiar, and this one has like black and white art with bluish tones in it. And an added bonus for this one is, which I did not know when I bought it, is that apparently Jeff Lemire has sketched and signed this one. So this one is a bit more unique now, I guess. And then I went ahead and bought a Black Mask Studios comic, trade paperback. I've seen a couple of you guys pulling this in single issues, and it's 4 kids walking to a bank, and I found the premise quite interesting, and I think if I remember correctly, it's like a couple of kids, a bunch of kids, one of their fathers has been blackmailed into robbing a bank, I think, or robbing a bank to clear some debt, something like that. But one of the kids kind of realizes that if they go ahead and do that, they're probably going to end up in jail, so they decided to do it for them. And that's what I think the premise is. So yeah, it's kind of interesting, and the artwork in this one is very indie, if you understand what I'm trying to say there. I think it's quite nice, and I hope it fits the story. And then I have another trade paperback from Image. Mostly of the rest of the trades are Image, and one of the hardcovers are Image. And this one is Mirror, The Mountain. It's written by Emma Rios and drawn by Hui Lim. The art is sort of fairy tale-ish, or quite European in style. I like it, and I like the watercolors as well. I think this one, I bought this at my LCS because a friend of mine and me and another friend were talking about starting a small sort of book circle, book club, where we pick a trade and read it and then go out for a coffee and just talk about the trade we read. But we never got around to do that, but I still got the trade, and it's gonna be interesting to read it though. And I think it's like humans developed some technology to kind of take over the mind of some animal on a different planet or something like that. I don't know if I remember that correctly, but I think that's what it's supposed to be. But if it's not, hey, it's probably gonna be an interesting read anyways. And then I got a trade paperback series that I've read the first volume of, and I completed the series as of now, in trade paperback form at least, with volume 2 and 3. So this is volume 2 of Rumble. It's written by John Acrudi and drawn by James Harron, colors by Dave Stewart, and I love this series. The first volume was so great. It's such a fun ride. You follow this scarecrow god, I think, and it's just a lot of fun, epic fantasy, or maybe not epic fantasy, but fantasy set in a modern setting, sort of. I just find the artwork in the story really fun to read. And as I said, I got volume 3 as well, still written by John Acrudi and drawn by James Harron with colors from Dave Stewart. And then I decided to go ahead and start new series. I've been wondering about this series for a while now, and I got the recommendation from Blackpool and JT when they went and did the comic board a while back. I know Blackboard picked this up in singles, and that is The Fix, Volume 1, written by Nick Spencer and drawn by Steve Lieber, I think, with Ryan Hill. Maybe he's the inker. And the volume is called Where Beagles Dare. I love the play on words there. I've flipped through it. It looks a lot of fun. The artwork looks fitting for this buddy cop story. I think it is, if I remember correctly. But I just find I want more humor and comedy in comics, and this looks to be a perfect way to go there. And then I got another follow-up to a series that I've started a while ago, and that is Drifter Volume 3 and Volume 4 as well. Lit by Fire Volume 3, written by Evan Brandon and drawn by Nick Klein, I think. I really enjoy my sci-fi, and this one kinda is a slow burn. We follow this character that crash landed on a planet, and weird things go on there. There's a mining town, and there's some, you got kind of get bits and pieces of how the community works there and how where he fits in and stuff like that as you go along. And the artwork hopefully won't spoil too much. It's really nice. I really love the artwork in this series. I would love to see this in an oversized format, but probably won't happen. And volume 4 as well. And then I follow up another series from Jeff Lemire again, with Dustin Ewan on Descender Volume 4, Orbital Mechanics. Just lovely cover. And yeah, I read Volume 1 to 3 quite a long time ago, but I kind of remember loving it, and the artwork inside is just phenomenal. I like how they scan each page and you kind of see the texture of the watercolor paper. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one at least. And another follow-up to another image series that I'm currently reading, or haven't been reading for a while now, but at least now I can follow it up. That is Robert Kirkman and Paul Azaceta's Outkast, Volume 4 this one, and Volume 5 as well. I absolutely love the series. It's a very slow burn, so I can't imagine reading this in single issues, sadly, but I do, however, enjoy it a lot when I read it in trade paperbacks. I know there's a hardcover series out there, but to me this works just fine. And another image series that I am continuing, and I think this concludes the run so far at least, and that is Cowell Volume 2, The Greater Good, written by Kyle Higgins and Alex Siegel and drawn by Rod Reis. Rod Reis' art is just awesome. I really love his artwork. I've been reading in single issues their other series called Hadrian's Wall, which I found really captivating. I loved it, and I went ahead and got this Volume 1 a while back and read it, loved it, so I'm really excited to see what they do to follow that one up with this one. And with the next book, a couple of books that I'm going to show you, I want to thank JT for alerting me to this one. I'm of course talking about Birthright Volume 2 and 3. I went ahead and bought Volume 1 on his recommendation, and I really enjoyed it. So I figured, why not get 2 more volumes to see if I like it even more after this one. I know Volume 6 is about to be released, so I'll probably get Volume 4, 5 and 6 when that gets released sometime soon. And here's some of the artwork in this one. There's a lot of fantasy elements to this, and it's quite brutal at times. I just really enjoy this series, at least when I read it a while back. And then I have another series that I'm starting from Image, and mainly because I know that the creative team went ahead and paused their ongoing with this series to go ahead and do DC's Earth 1, the Green Lantern Earth 1 for DC, which I found really, finally, basically. I have always wanted a Green Lantern or a Green Arrow Earth 1 book to see what they do there, and they have done this one before that, Invisible Republic Volume 1. It's Gabriel Hardman and Corina Betchko and Jordan Boyd involved with this one, and artwork looks a bit gritty at times, and when I flip through this, I kind of get the feel of maybe The Expanse, the TV show, or maybe even Total Recall, the old one. I kind of get the feeling of that type of sci-fi, which is fine by me, but I'm probably just way off base here. But this looks really interesting to me, and I love my sci-fi, so. And then we have another series that I'm continuing, and that probably everyone has been reading. But I've forgotten about this for a while, but now I have 2 volumes to read, which is nice. and that is Saga Volume 7 and 8. Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples, of course. I love this. This is so much fun to read and sad at times as well. Love the backs as well. And the next one is a fantastic book that I've been waiting for a long time, and that is Tokyo Ghost. I got the direct market variant because I love the cover for this one, even though you don't look at the cover often, but this one I couldn't pass up. And I kind of went ahead and gambled to see if Rick Remender were about to release a hardcover for this one, and yeah, they did, and I'm lucky enough to get this one. I hear it might be out of print at times at places, and the artwork by Sean Murphy is just stunning. Let's see if I can hold this book up. As you can see, this is just stunning, beautiful artwork, and the book itself is just very well put together. The binding is perfect, the artwork is perfect, the size of it is almost like it is basically a library edition from Dark Horse, the premiere edition, and just beautiful books. And now we're getting to the last book of my haul, and that is an Oni Press giant book, or big book, larger than the Absolutes, and that is the Gunslinger edition for 6th Gun, Volume 4. These are just beautiful books. Sadly, my edition got a little bit of a bump in the slipcase, but the book itself is just fine, so the slipcase did its job, I guess. With this one, you get, except for the slipcase, you also get a beautiful dust jacket, as you can see, with art printed on the back and the front, and the spine is just regular hardcover edition. And when you take away the dust jacket, you used to get this faux leather interior on the hardcover, but this one doesn't really have the same feel as the other 3 volumes, but still a really nice hardcover book. And these are limited to 500 of a 500 edition, and the book that I got was is signed by the creative team, and it's also numbered. It's also numbered. Hopefully you will be able to make it out. Number 70 out of 500. So yeah, I'm really happy about this one. It's just a fun occult western, and who doesn't love the supernatural and a western, and the combination of the two is just perfect. Yeah, and the only drawback of this is that the binding is still glued, but there's seldom any splash pages, and the book itself kind of holds open like that if you go through the middle. And that's it. Thank you for watching. Hopefully the sun hasn't been too much of a glare, and hopefully you found some of these books interesting. If you have read any of these, please let me know what you thought about them. Please don't spoil anything, and leave a comment down below if you want to know anything more about these books. Until next time, have a fantastic week of reading, and see you around. Bye bye.